Welcome to another episode of the And Now I Know podcast. I'm your host, 32 Flavazz, and I'm here to inspire you to live life at your fullest potential. If you're looking for a podcast that's going to inspire you to chase your dreams, motivate you to get up each and every day, and help you navigate life just a little bit better, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're watching right now on YouTube. And if you're listening to me, whether you at work, you're in your car, you in your bathroom, you getting ready for work, you are, I don't know, wherever you at, be sure to hit that follow button on any streaming platform. I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. If it's a podcast platform, if you can listen to me, baby, download. Because I'm trying to take this thing to the moon and to the stars. And without you, I would not be. So, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. And this episode is for somebody who is in their waiting season. If you feel like you're waiting for something, this episode is for you. If you feel like God has had his foot on your neck, right, shaping you and molding you, this episode is for you. If you feel like you wondering where God is, if you've been looking and listening and looking out for his voice and you feel like you haven't been hearing it, this episode is for you. If you're looking for your breakthrough, this episode is for you. If you feel like you are so close to your destiny and so close to holding the life that God called you to live, this episode is for you. Now, without further ado, let's just dive right into it. I just got to be vulnerable and transparent. I feel like God has me in a season in which he has taken me out of my storm, right? I have talked about this on a couple podcast episodes. And if you follow me on any of my other platforms, I'm talking TikTok, maybe even Instagram, I have mentioned God bringing me through and out of a storm. I mentioned how I was in a storm and now I feel like, Lord, you got me out of the storm. Right? It's no longer raining. It's no longer storming. But Lord, I feel the sunshine is getting really, really close. You've been giving me my confirmations. You've been sending me my signs. But I can't hear you. Where are you? Right? And so I know I'm not the only person that is in this place. Because when you in this place, it can feel a little bit scary. Because when you in the pit, when you are in the midst of everything that you're going through, you are like locked in with God. If you are not watching right now, I got my fingers crossed. You locked in with God, right? You calling on him every day, every other night. You on your hands and knees. Lord, help me, get me through this. I want to see a blessing. Send me a sign. Send me my this, that, and that. But when he starts shining that light on you, when you start getting those signs and confirmations that everything is going to be all right, sometimes we tend to ease up. I know I'm victim of that, right? And I don't want to come on here acting like I'm perfect. I feel like when I was in my storm, there were several nights where I was writing in my journal on my hands and knees, y'all. I might not look like it, but I'm here to let y'all know on my hands and knees some nights, asking God to please make a way out of no way. And let me tell you, he did, and he has, and he always will, right? But you kind of get comfortable once you get out of that state. I was talking on my TikTok live today, and I was saying, there were some songs I was listening to in my storm. And the songs where one of them was Maverick City, God's Problem, or A God Problem. I believe it's just God's Problem, right? And another one is Firm Foundation. Now, Firm Foundation is still my song, but those are just two songs that pop up in my mind. When I was really in my storm, I was blasting a lot of Maverick City. And I was just talking on my TikTok live today about how I listen to those songs differently now. It's almost like they not my jam no more. I guess maybe because it reminded me of my storm, right? Or I don't know, I just kind of felt like as I was listening to them recently, like, why do I not feel the same? Because that God is the same God, but just because he started showing you the sign, just because you started getting the blessings and the things, like just because he started showing you that he can't make a way out of no way, is now the time to ease up? And if anything, this is the last time, the last thing you need to be doing is easing up on the Lord just because he is making things happen for you. And I'm not saying that I just stopped doing all I was doing, but it's a different way that you pray when you are in the midst of your storm, when you need the Lord to make something happen for you. It's just a different type of energy, a different type of passion that you have when you need God to do something for you versus when you cool, when you cruising. You see, it's always cool when life is good. your prayers are a little bit different. You know, you like, thank you, Lord. God is great. God is good. Let's take him forward for Jesus' name. Amen. Like, that's how you do it. But when you in your storm, you like, Lord, please pray for my mama. Pray for my granny. Pray for the stranger across the street, the neighbor, the dog, the cat. Like, you praying for everybody, everything. Is thorough. You know, you make it more designated time because you need him to do something for you. So if you are in your waiting period, I just want to encourage you to stay locked in with God. I don't know why, but I just felt like I need to quit saying that. I say that every time I do a podcast, but I know why. So I need to act like I know why. But God put it on my heart to make this video today because it speaks so much to me, and I know it will speak so much to you all, that you gotta stay locked in. Because when the storm clears up and you start seeing a little bit of sun peeking through them clouds, it's not gonna happen when you want it. You know, it's not gonna happen when you want it. But God will send you those signs. He will give you that confirmation. I tell God, you know, Lord, you don't want me seeking validation from the world. You don't want me worrying about the people that follow me or the people that comment or this or that. So, Lord, give me the validation that you know I need. And the Lord knows your heart, right? So you could ask for these things and you could be real with him, right? So, you know, you got to just stay locked in because, man, it's not going to come exactly the way that you thought it would. It's not going to come at the time in which you thought it would, but it's going to come and it is going to be on time and at the right time, right? But hold on and stay faithful. When you don't hear him, that is the best time to make sure you are getting connected. Because sometimes when you don't hear him, you can kind of stray away and you can kind of lose sight of the destiny of the vision that he gave you, right? And so, I don't know who this is for. Now, I don't know if you getting your feathers ruffled, but I just had to come on here and give some encouragement, especially on this podcast, because God, I want you guys to grow and move with me. You know, I feel like I've shared a lot of my life on my platforms for a while now. And, you know, a lot of you guys have been here since the beginning. And I want to make sure you guys never forget that I'm just like you. I'm just somebody out here really seeking God and really trying to chase my destiny. Like, I refuse to live a life that's mediocre. I refuse to just settle for anything in any area of my life. This is the same God that built the mountains, the trees, the beaches, Bali, all the beautiful places that we love to vacation. You think that this man, you think that the Lord is not going to come through for you? You think he just wants you to live a mediocre life? Sorry, Lord, I didn't mean to say the man, but y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you have to just know, like, I have it in my heart that I am called and I am going to live the life that God has designed for me, right? Even on days in which I don't even know how it's going to happen. You feel me? Like, some days it don't even make sense, right? But by any means necessary, we talk about by any means necessary with all these other things, and we gonna get to it. We gonna start the business. We gonna get the car. We gonna get the approval letter. By any means necessary. But by any means necessary, are you gonna seek the Lord? By any means necessary, are you gonna lock in and stay in it? Stay in it. So if you're watching this video right now, I just want to encourage you to stay in it. I hope you can feel the passion through the mic and through the sound and through your speakers or wherever you're listening, right? And so, like I said, make sure you stay locked in. I probably said that 50 times right now because I don't know if you anything or anybody like me, but I feel like God is working in my life. And he has had his foot on my neck, which is why the title of this episode is God, Take Your Foot Off My Neck. Because I feel like God has been throwing everything my way. And, okay, how can I say this? He's been allowing the devil to throw everything my way because he know that I am faithful. Y'all, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. I know I ain't been perfect, but I've been faithful. Period. Okay, I still do a lot of things that I wish I did not, but God is still working on those areas of my life. I just got to be 100 with y'all, right? But one thing's for sure, I've been faithful, and I know for a fact, like, I can't stop and I can't give up. I was having a conversation with my sister, and we were just talking about how you got to pay attention, because sometimes you can get so caught up in the Lord, where you at? Where you at? Where the blessing? Where the big thing you promised me? You took me through the storm. Where's the big thing? Like sometimes you can get so caught up in the cries and so caught up in the worry and so caught up in the why and what time and when it's going to happen. And you can be so caught up in checking your clock when you're not understanding that your clock is not God's clock. And you can miss the moment. And so right now I'm reading a book by Deion Sanders called Elevate and Dominate. And in that book, he uses a phrase and he says, be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. In other words, be present, be in the moment. And I just dropped a real video on Instagram on today. So I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but the day that this podcast comes out, go back and watch the reel that I'm speaking about right now. I basically am talking about, or I talked about how be where your feet are, because you will never be in this place again. If you feel anything like me, if you are confident in the vision that God gave you, this is the last time you're going to be in this place. And let me kind of dig deeper on that. Like, when I say this is the last time you're going to be in this place, that don't mean that trouble won't happen again. That means that you won't go through storms again. That doesn't mean that you won't go through anything ever again. But I'm saying all this to say, like, I know God is taking me far. He started me out in this podcast room inside of my shop. This is not where I'm going to end. Who knows? I could be the next Oprah. And I'm not comparing myself to Oprah, but I could be the next 32 Flavors on live TV. Okay? This could be the next Ellen DeGeneres show. Like, all of the people. You feel me? Like, I can be that. I know it's going to be that. It might not be my podcast necessarily. Like, I don't know what God gonna do in my life, but y'all feel what I'm saying? So, I done lost my train of thought because I done got so deep in that. But listen, y'all, you gotta know that it's greater coming later. And when you be where your feet are, you can be grateful for all that you have, so that way you are a good steward over all that you have right now, so that way you can be blessed with more. Because how are you going to appreciate the big wins, the big things, the enormous things that God does in your life, when you can't even appreciate the little small, the many things, right? And so I have that crazy faith, y'all. And I don't even know if you can call it crazy, because when God tell you something, like when you got it deep in y'all, I felt this way about myself since I was a kid. I know I'm not the only one with a vision. Some people are figuring out a new thing, and some people are just now discovering their purpose. But I always knew in the pit of my soul that I was going to be somebody. I didn't know what it was going to take. I didn't know how God was going to get me there, but I knew that I was going to be on big stages. I was going to be talking to people. I just didn't know how. So be where your feet are, because this is the last time you are going to be in this space. I think the best way to talk about this season would be, let's just talk about, if you are listening to this right now and you are in a single season, or if you are wanting to have children or trying to have children, or wanting to get married and you are not those things right now. Let's just talk about being single. If you are single right now and you really want to be with a partner, be married, God willing, right? This is the last time you're going to be able to only worry about yourself. Because when you are in a partnership, when you are in a marriage, like the way that God designed it, is not going to be about you. You're going to be serving him, and you're going to be selfless with your partner, or at least you should be, right? And so embrace the season that you are in right now. Let's talk about your business. You might feel like, oh Lord, like I'm booked. I got clients, but I want some more. Well, if you are wanting some more, be a good steward over what you have now, because the person that has to manage all of the clients and a book schedule, that requires like a different you. You feel me? So be grateful for what you have right now. Be a good steward over what you have right now, because in a minute, in due time, in his time, you're going to be booked and busy, God willing, right? Let's just say you want to have children, okay? When you have children, it's no longer just about you. Those selfish tendencies that you may have, right? I know we all gotta, if you don't have any kids, I'm pretty sure you have selfish tendencies, right? You can't be the same person when you are a mother or a father, right? But when you have kids, you're not going to have all this free time. You're not going to be able to get up and go. And God willing, if he blesses you with children or a child in your future, you have to embrace where you are right now because you're never going to be here ever again. Do y'all get what I'm saying? And so I have been really trying, and I have been trying to pray about being where your feet are because it's easier said than done. I'm talking to y'all about this, but I'm really speaking to myself along with speaking with y'all because when you be where your feet are, that means you have to stop overthinking. That means you have to remove that anxiety. That means you have to stop over planning and overthinking about things that is none of your business. It's God's business, right? And so that can be tough, especially if you are somebody like me. I would consider myself quote unquote independent. Okay. And I fend for myself. I'm a business owner as an entrepreneur, a strong black woman, a courageous black woman. Like I have held it down for myself for a long time. So it's kind of hard to hand things over to God sometimes. Let's just be real. Where my independent people at? If you independent and you hold it down by yourself, say INDEPEN. It's like, nah. But like independent people, controlling people, overthinkers. A lot of times we have our hand on things that we need to take our hands off of and allow God to do his work. So you got to pray. You got to pray, Lord, help me not to always want to take control and allow me to surrender all things over unto you. And with that being said, I got to add a little therapy note. God is not the people on this earth. God is not your father. God is not the men that you had in your life. God is not the friends that betrayed you. God is not the people who failed you or people who let you down, people who disappointed you. So if you are somebody who struggles in that area, struggling with trusting others, sometimes that can kind of work into your faith, work into your relationship with the Lord, right? And so I want to encourage you to focus on learning how to remove God from the worldly things and people. Because if you don't have trust in man, sometimes you struggle with having trust in the Lord. Let's just be real, okay? We make all these posts talk about have faith, have faith, have faith, but do you have 100% faith or is it 90? Because if it's not 100, it's nothing. You feel me? So that's just a little food for thought. But if you are still listening to this right now, again, I want to encourage you to keep the faith. Because if you anything like me, I know I am close. God has let all chaos break loose in my life. And normally when things get to hitting the fan, Marvin Sapp has this song where he says, I must be close to my destiny. I'm extremely close to my victory because here comes problems, troubles, and jealousy. I must believe. If you know, you know, okay? I didn't remix the lyrics, but I think I was pretty much spot on. And if you don't know the song, go listen to or look up Marvin Sapp, Close. The song is called Close. And he talks about like you on the brink of your breakthrough. You really do have to hold on and don't lose sight of the destiny. I don't know what the Lord is doing, y'all. When I set up this podcast, I plan for it to be motivational, inspirational, and helping y'all navigate life just a little bit better while I knew I was going to be dropping therapy notes, but I didn't know I was going to be preaching. This is giving preaching, okay? And yeah, I'm so silly because if you watching this right now, I brought my Deion Sanders book and I was going to read a passage out of the book. But child, I done left the book in my bag. I done already got knee deep into this episode and I don't know if you can feel the energy, even if you're listening right now. I don't know if you can feel the energy, but it's just like the Lord been speaking to me through me. I went on TikTok live today, and when I tell you, I felt like I was just preaching. Like, I don't know, like he just be giving me words, and I don't know. I pray. I be like, Lord, use me. Like, I'm trying to go where you want me to go. I want the life you want me to live, and I guess it's just what comes of it, you know. Shoot, this podcast then turned into a whole. I don't even know the vibes. Like, I'm just honestly letting him lead. But I know that this episode is going to touch somebody. And again, if you watch me, because I get people saying, like, you're so inspirational. And I truly appreciate that. But I really do pray, and I hope that y'all see God through me. You know, I'm not perfect. I still got a bunch of things I need to work on. Far from perfect. But I just want people to know, like, I'm just somebody out here trying. I'm really trying to, like let God have his way in my life, because I want the things he wants for me. Like, I want to live that dream life. There's no way we're going to be able to get the dream life and the life that we say we really want until we follow him. Like, there's literally no way. Like, I lived a cool life prior to this relationship. It was cool, but I was unhappy. There were moments where I did not have any peace. There was chaos in certain areas of my life, and I just was not fulfilled. Like, for once in my life, I am the happiest. I am at peace. I am okay, you know? Like, I mentioned, like, I'm single. Like, although I don't have a partner, God has, like, and you do get lonely sometimes, but God has just blessed me. And he just fills my cup, man. And you just got to be along the ride to understand the vibes. Like, this podcast might not be for everybody, but yeah, I hope you took something away from this episode. And I think that's about it. I think I said all I had to say now. So, you know, I always close out the episode with the And Now I Know segment. And now I know that although I can't see it right now, it's on the way. If you're listening to this right now, if you're watching it, I don't know, from your couch, from your car, wherever, your work desk, tell yourself, say it out loud, it's on the way. Whisper to yourself, it's on the way. It is on the way. You just got to believe it, man, because if you don't believe it, can't nobody convince you of it, you know? And I believe that good things are on the way to me. And faith without works is dead. And baby, I've been working, and the faith been don't play with me. So yeah, y'all, I am super excited to be dropping another episode. I'm excited to be talking to you guys once again. If you don't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at And Now I Know Podcast, and also follow my personal page at 32 Flavazz. If you don't already, follow me on TikTok at 32 Flavazz. And I'm literally 32 Flavazz on everything. Amazon storefront, all of the things, right? Yeah, and if you want the link to all of my pages, so that way you ain't got to do too much searching, just search my Linktree. And my Linktree link is in my TikTok bio and also my Instagram bio. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys and continuing to grow this podcast. Once again, if you are looking for a podcast that's going to inspire you to chase your dreams, motivate you to get up each and every day, and help you navigate life just a little bit better, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are watching on YouTube. And if you are listening on any streaming platform, be sure to hit that follow button and download. First of all, I just got to say before we close out that the And Now I Know podcast is international, okay? International. I pulled up the countries that I'm showing in. Babe, they listening in Africa. They listening in the UK. There's several states on there, and I know obviously because of my platform, everybody's not from St. Louis, but it's just amazing to see God doing His work and being able to touch and reach people all over. So I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. There will be no podcast. Well, it will be a podcast, but what is it if you don't have any listeners? So I'm so grateful for y'all, and I hope you guys feel like the love through the mic and through the speakers and through your TV. Like, I hope you feel that. I'm so grateful to be in this space. I just hit 75K as of yesterday on Instagram. And y'all, it feels so good because that is nothing but God and nothing but consistency. Because on days where I could not show up for myself, I posted. On days where I did not feel like it, I posted. On days where I was depressed, sad, mad, going through a bunch of everything, I posted and I showed up. And so I want to encourage you also to continue to show up even when you feel like you cannot, but also give yourself grace and allow yourself space and rest and time off. So thank you again for watching and listening. I am 32 Flavors, and I will see you guys next time. And yeah, we out.